What's going on, everyone? Before we push any further forward in this series, I would just like to say, I am well aware there may or may not be people on this list who are not necessarily terrible human beings. That being said, I am also aware we as humans make mistakes. That's just one of those things that come along with life. However, I think we can all agree some mistakes have extremely dire consequences, others may not. You most certainly can make a mistake and still be held accountable for your actions. That's just one of those things I would like everyone to sort of keep in the back of their head as we continue to talk about TikTokers Who Did Terrible Things, Episode 2. Marissa Cloutier, otherwise known as DigitalPrincxss. Creator class type, gamer girl. Specialty, all things Pokemon. Claim to fame, the following incident. Well, leading up to October of 2020, DigitalPrincxss, formerly known as PokePrincess, had accumulated almost 2 million followers on TikTok, as well as a fairly respectable 250,000 on Instagram. In addition to this, at this time, she was also a rather popular Twitch streamer. Now this, in part, was mainly due to her infatuation with all things Pokemon. And the reason we said prior to October of that year is that this would be the first time Marissa would enter the spotlight due to a controversy. That being, in those last few months leading up to October, Marissa opened up a merch store. And on literally every single product she sold, the name Poke was in it. And Nintendo, being the calm, loving giant they always are in these situations, they told her, this is completely fine. Just keep running your business as usual and bringing in all that cash. Not at all. As a matter of fact, they would hand out a very swift cease and desist, while also making her pay them all the money she had made from her merch store. Now, we can argue about whether it was ethical for her to do this all night and day. However, I would just like to say this in her defense. I firmly believe she handled the lawsuit the best she could. She would remind her followers several times to not take out their frustrations on Nintendo, and seemed to have a pretty good understanding of why she was not allowed to do this. It was at this time she changed her name to DigitalPrincxss, and many people out there would go on to say her career would be entirely over. This couldn't be further from the case. As a matter of fact, she would gain in popularity for quite a while before once again peaking just before 2 million followers. Which brings us to almost 1 year later on the dot. In October of 2021, Fort Myers police in Florida respond to a phone call about a young child wandering around the neighborhood crying out for his mother. And upon locating this child and figuring out where he lives, they now know this is DigitalPrincxss's son. So at this point, they have probable cause due to an emergency situation to be able to enter DigitalPrincxss's house. And when they do so, she is nowhere to be found. Now this was around 11 p.m. Over the course of the next hour, they would try relentlessly to get in touch with Marissa, finally reaching her on her cell phone at around midnight. Well, when she shows up, Marissa gets out of her car holding a container of laundry detergent, exclaiming that she had just gone out real quick to purchase it so she could do some laundry. Well, upon further investigation, they would find she, 1, had no receipt. 2, the bottle of laundry detergent was already half empty. More so, she was all dressed up with a full face of makeup, looking like she was trying to spend a night on the town. At this point, she was arrested. Now, shortly after posting bail, she would release a video explaining her side of the story, stating she had actually left her child in the care of someone else in that neighborhood and that that person was to blame. However, when all of the prior information I just told you guys became public, she immediately took down the video and started embracing the fact everybody hated her for what she had done. So for those of you who weren't and are not going to be on TikTok, allow me to set the scene. One day, we find out everything that you guys have just heard in this video. Then, the very next, she is all over everybody's feed dancing in front of a green Lambo to Takeshi 6ix9ine. And it got to the point where it was like everything she posted had to do with this incident, and she was clearly trying to profit off of what she had done. Well, over the course of the next few months, she would actually lose hundreds of thousands of followers while gaining hundreds of thousands at the same time, sort of flatlining yet again just under 2 million followers. And in case you're wondering, yes, she still profits off of that incident to this day. Every once in a while, she'll post a video like this. At this time, I would like to state for the record, this one is a lot lighter than episode 1. And a lot of people probably wouldn't classify this as terrible. Yet again, let me remind you, this child was found wandering around the neighborhood at 11 p.m. near several bodies of water, screaming out for his mother who wasn't there. Some might say, yep, that's pretty terrible. I guess it depends on who you are. Either way, she remains on our list of TikTokers who did terrible things. so that's it, y'all. That is gonna do it for Digital Princess. If you can think of anything I missed, feel free to add it in the comments below. I would also like to say, look, I know us TikTokers get a rather bad rap from a lot of you YouTubers, and I'm well aware y'all have completely valid reasons for every single one of your arguments. In a lot of those cases, I could not agree more. However, I would just like to remind you there are creators on that platform who actually do care about creating content that is not just gonna sit there and fry your brain for 7 seconds repeatedly all day. That being said, I wish you the very best, whatever it is, wherever you may be. Peace out.